Everybody doing? Favorite country cousin JT live with you. And let's start this off being super clear. All right. Well, let me even ask you, can you attract money? Type it in the live chat, type it underneath this video. All right. Do you believe that you can attract money? That you don't have to go out and chase money? Out, do you personally believe that you, with the knowledge that you have, with the network that you have, that the money that you have, the resources that you have, do you believe that you personally do not have to go out and chase money, but yet you can attract money to you? Yes or no? Drop it in the chat. Yes or no? Drop it in the chat. Right? For many years, right, prior to being an entrepreneur and in the early years of entrepreneurship, I thought that was a scam. That was a lie. That is what people tell you to sell you books, courses, mentorships, whatever they trying to sell you, right? So I thought, like, man, that sound cool. Cause imagine, right? Imagine if I could say I could just sit at the house all day and checks come in. Money hit the bank account like clockwork, right? So for many years, I struggled to have consistent cash flow because I thought that you had to go out and work for money. Like, you can't attract money to you. You have to go to the money, right? Then I later learned, what does it actually mean? Because like I tell you guys all the time, I believe that there could be a language barrier between two people, even if we both speak the same language. Last year, I think it was last year, or maybe the year before that, I used to own a food trailer in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I sold it either last year or the year before. I've been out of the food business for a while, right? Sold my food trailer business, wanted to transition over back into some other businesses. Actually, I transitioned into buying software companies. I really didn't like food, gave it a try, transitioned, sold the food trailer business, started investing in software companies, and that's what we've been doing ever since, right? So what I learned was you can have a language barrier between people that speak the same language as you. Because I had a operations manager and I had a sales manager, and those were the two leads on my food trailer. The sales manager job was simple. Get as many people as possible to come eat at our food trailer. The operations manager's job was to make sure that we had high quality food prepared in a timely manner for the people that the sales manager has sold to come to our food trailer, right? There was a confrontation, nothing crazy, but there was just a disagreement one time. So I came from North Carolina to Chattanooga. We did a sit down. Me, my ops manager, my sales manager, right? We went to a restaurant called Cheddar's, right? Not no crazy 5-star restaurant, but they got the best croissant rolls in the world, so I wanted to go to Cheddar's. So went, did a sit down at Cheddar's to figure out what's going on, right? This is an easy $150,000, $200,000 a year operation. Why we bumping heads about cooking food and getting it out? What's the big problem, right? And the language barrier was they both said, right, work hard, right? Work hard. All right. And I was like, okay, cool. What does work hard mean to you? And at first they was like, man, you know what that mean. Like, man, everybody know what work hard mean. I was like, nah, I got South Carolina education. I'm a little bit slow. Yeah, you know, I dropped 60 bands into starting this food trailer, plus, you know, ongoing expenses that we have, but I don't know everything. What does work hard mean to you, right? Work hard to the sales manager meant something different than what work hard for the operations manager. So they were saying the same thing. Hey, work hard. I am working hard. You work hard. Okay, I am working hard too, right? But then they're bumping heads because how they define the terms was different, right? Are you tracking so far? So I tell you guys that story. Everything is intentional because I want you to know that just hearing terms without understanding what the person meant can make all the difference in the world. Here's what I mean when I say attract money, and here's how I've been able to attract money in my life. Attracting money is creating opportunities that benefit other people in a greater demand than the money that you charge. If you would like to be somebody that wants to attract money, that is not you laying across the bed all day watching TV and checking your account and seeing if you got another $1,000, $10,000, $20,000 that magically hit the account. If you truly want to attract money, what you should obsess over is creating opportunities for other people. All I do now is focus on creating opportunities for other people. And because I obsess over creating opportunities for other people, I always attract money. Money is a byproduct of you doing everything else right. That's why it's very hard to measure what you're doing right or wrong if all you look at is money, right? Because there's things that lead up to money. So for example, right, this is a core water. If I drink 50 of these today and there's nothing wrong with me, right, then I'm going to have to go to the restroom a lot, right? That is not magic. That is not, I think that will happen because I can't tell the future. That's not, I hope that happens. If there is nothing wrong with the system, because of what I input to the system, something must come out. Does that make sense? So if I drink 50 of these waters and there is nothing wrong with me, I'm going to be in the bathroom. I'm going to be in the restroom a lot. If there is nothing wrong with your business system, if you in certain inputs, the only output you can get is money. Let that sink in. If there's nothing wrong with the system and you put in certain inputs, the only thing that could come out is money, right? Instead of water, right, I don't drink, but imagine this is, y'all tell me, whatever the strongest liquor is in the world, right? I don't know because I don't drink. I know they used to say Everclear, but I don't know if they got something stronger than Everclear. Help me out in the comment section. But let's say Everclear, right? If this was the strongest liquor in the world and I drunk 50 of these, the only thing that could happen is destroy the entire system. It's the only thing that could happen, right? So if I wanted to attract money, what I would do is focus on one, before I focus on the inputs are the things that we do consistently, right? I first have to do it in the right system, all right? If I pour 50 of these core waters in the gas station, and not in the gas station, in the gas tank, y'all know I can't talk. If I pour 50 of these waters, this is straight water. If I put this in a cup and let everybody drink it, nothing would happen. It's just water. But if I put 50 of these inside of the gas tank of the car that I'm driving, I will destroy the car. Why? Because the system is not designed for this input. So it doesn't matter initially what the inputs are. The first thing you gotta have is the right system. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? I'm telling you this in order because some people will just say, hey, go here, do this, do that. And they're telling you inputs, but you don't have the right system. And you dumping 50 bottles of water into the gas tank of your car and wonder why your car don't work right. Because all they gave you was inputs. They didn't give you the right system. Here's the right system that can apply to all of you all's businesses. Obsess over not how much money you want to make. It was very hard for me to make $10,000 a month back when my goal was $10,000 a month. This was 2018. right? Now, keep in mind, by 2019, I was making $1 million a year in business. It was easier for me to get the $30,000 a month than it was to get the $10,000 a month. It was easier, and it's easier for me now to make over $1 million a year than it was to make $10,000 a month. That doesn't make sense to somebody that's not at this level, right? Because they're like, oh man, like, of course you'll hit $10,000 first. $10,000 is such a small pie, may not seem that way now, but it's such a small pie, you have very little incentive to pay people to help you get there. So you do the majority of the work yourself. You don't hire people, or you don't hire the highest tier people. You don't have any software or systems, or you don't have the best ones. Why? Because you're trying to keep your costs low so you can keep as much of that money as possible, right? Now, when you create a bigger pie, then of course, right? So creating a bigger pie is, I want you to focus on, like they said when I was in the Marine Corps, I don't care if you sell tampons, torpedoes, or anything in between. I want you to focus on, how does your product, how does your service create greater value to the maximum number of people? And then your other products, other than your core product is the main thing that you're known for, right? And the main thing that you're known for is different depending on your marketing and all of that other good stuff, right? So if we're going to build a system, right, what I like to do, as somebody who's been a full-time entrepreneur since 2014, is first I go find somebody that has the system that I want based off of the lifestyle that they live, right? If I see somebody that is making the money that I want to make, but they can't never go nowhere, because if they leave the business, the money stop, I don't want that life. I mean, it's cool. It's cool to make $1 million a month, but if as soon as you stop working, your income go to zero. And guess what people that have never made that kind of money say? Well, if I made $1 million a month for about 6 months, I could stop and be good the rest of the year, right? That's ignorance. I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. What I mean is this. For those of you all that were on my previous live, matter of fact, I got like $800 worth of gift cards. You guys can send me a private message, and I got like different $100 gift cards. I'll send somebody here like either $300 in gift cards or $300 to their Cash App. You gotta answer this question within a minute though, so I know you ain't winning go cheat, right? In my last live stream when I was in the office, I showed you guys how much money I spent in 2023 and in 2024, right? I want you to get the first number right. Just tell me the first number and I'll send you either $300 cash, right? Was it $1? Was it $100? Was it $1 million? Was it $1 billion? Was it $2, $200, $200,000, $2 million, $2 billion? What's the first number? Drop it real quick. Drop it real quick. $300, right? I'm about to gift you just for tuning in, right? Right? Boom, 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 boom. All right, I could tell y'all guessing, and the time is up, right? You could go verify this. I actually showed you guys on a live stream when I'm in my office the numbers, right? So, like, nobody guessed it before the minute was up. All right, it was over $3 million. I showed you guys the back end of what I spent. In 2023, I spent $1.6 million. In 2024, I spent over $2 million, right? If you don't believe me, like I said, it's up. I show you my account, right? Somebody will show you, oh, I made this much money and get you super hype. Oh, like people making millions of dollars for free. What you think it costs? If I tell you I'm making millions of dollars a year, you think I'm making it with $0? If that was the case, then why everybody not making millions of dollars for zero? Elon Musk make way more money than me. Why Elon Musk still got to spend money to build cars, rocket ships, run Twitter or X, now that it's called, right? If little old country boy from the Carolinas can figure out how to make millions of dollars with $0, which is not the case, but if that was true, why are billionaires spending more money than me, right? Am I smarter than them? According to the amount of money that I'm making, it can't be, right? Can't be, all right? So first, I want you to find the right system. The right system is based off of the lifestyle that that person is living, right? Understand this. A lifestyle business does have a cap on it. Generally speaking, you're not going to make $100 million, $1 billion plus with a lifestyle business. Like, so the people that you see that's able to go shopping every day and they're able to jump in and out of jets and do all of this and that, right? If they're young, they're not going to ever hit those crazy numbers. That's just not the business model. That's just not how it works, right? How you see people that are in their 20s jumping in and out of private jets, right? Driving Lamborghinis and Ferraris, and then you turn on the news or social media, you see Elon Musk sleep in a cube, right? It's just a different business model, all right? So, how do I attract money? I gotta tell you guys the backstory or else it wouldn't make sense, right? So, how do you attract money? You create environments where you provide more value than the money that you charge. You could do that with a clothing line. You could do that with a social media account. You could do that with your e-commerce store of any kind, your restaurant of any kind, right? I'll even give you guys some technical nuggets because I want somebody here to say, okay, I understand the concept, but just give me a plate. Underneath this post right now, if you're able to hear the sound of my voice and see this video, underneath this live stream, the very first link is going to take you to an absolutely free Telegram group. Telegram is a free app that you have to download if you don't do it already. Why, JT? Telegram, as of this recording, is the only app that ensures that everybody that is on the app, that's on the proper channels or group, get 100% of the notifications as long as they're in the group, on the channel, and they have the notifications turned on. Social media doesn't guarantee that. Even if you run paid ads, it doesn't guarantee that. Email doesn't guarantee that, right? So I'm using Telegram, which is a free app, to guarantee, even though I'm not charging for the information, 100% of the right people get the information. Let me tell you what you'll get before you even leave and click that link, right? You're going to get for absolutely free daily AI income stream plays. The entire strategy. Something that somebody would put in a course and sell you for $300 to $500, maybe even $1,000 or more, right? I condense that down, and every single day, right, we send you a daily AI income idea. We tell you what the problem is, who has the problem, what's the tech stack needed to solve the problem, how to put it together, how to charge, where to find the customer, everything you need. Every day we give you a unique one, right? This is how, one example of how you can learn how to create an environment that adds more value to people than it does you. Even literally the environment itself. Could I have made this environment and said, hey, for $5 a month, $10 a month, $2 a month, right? Whatever price tag I want to put on it. Hey, I'm going to give you pretty much a business a day from start to finish, everything you need to do a different business every day, 365 days out the year. We'll never repeat the same business idea twice, right? For X amount of money. And would there be a percentage of people that would pay X amount of money a month to know exactly who has the problem, what is the problem, how to build the solution, what to charge for it, how to sell it to them? Absolutely, right? I had to pay a developer to help develop the back-end infrastructure so I don't manually have to input all of this every single day, right? So well over $1,000 just to get a simple bot that understands how I think in one area of my life and kick that out every single day, right? So literally the environment itself becomes a place that attracts money. Only people that are going to go join that group, even though it's free, are people that what? They're interested in AI, because everything that it kicks out every day is an AI strategy, right? How to use AI to make more money with less labor, all right? So you got to be interested in AI. You got to be interested in business. It's not telling you another job to go apply for, right? So if I harbor a community of people that are all interested in business and they're all interested in AI business and making money from it, right? Do you think if I ever wanted to do a free conference or even a paid conference or whatever kind of meetup I wanted to do and say, all I want to do is talk about the latest and greatest ways you can turn a business into a complete automated ATM for yourself, I could just invite the people that's there. Whether it's free or paid, right? I have the right people in the room to be able to create something bigger than myself, and we can all benefit from it financially speaking, right? That's just one real life example, and if you guys want to be a part of it, you can click the link and join, right? Let's say that for whatever reason you don't want to click the link and join, that's fine, all right? You go in there or somebody shares with you a play, all right, if you're not in there, and you just go start that business. Every business in there is a B2B service. I'm biased. I have made the most money, and because now that's my business model, I pretty much guaranteed I would always make the most money off of doing business with other businesses. If you're here and you're an individual and you have no desire to ever become a successful entrepreneur, it doesn't matter what you say underneath the video. It don't matter what you say in the live chat, right? You trespassing. You're not even supposed to be here, right? I'm a B2B entrepreneur. I work with businesses or people that aspire to start a business. Here's the nugget there. In your business, if you want to attract money, you can't attract everybody because everybody don't got money. I'm giving you guys the play if you're ready for it. If your goal was to create an environment that attracts money, the first thing that we covered for the people that got into the room late is you got to create an environment where you give more value than what you charge. I don't care if you sell donuts. If it costs you $1 to make the donut, but people are paying $3 all day long for the donuts, you could charge $2 for the donut. You still turn a profit and they got more value, right? Now, understand this. That's a simple example that you can start off doing, but that's not a sustainable business model in and of itself, because then I got to teach you about perceived value, right? Perceived value is all the value somebody has before they give you money. Before you bought your house, all you had was the perception of how it would be if you owned that house, if you lived in that house. You didn't know that yet because you didn't have the house. Same thing with your car, same thing with the clothes, same thing with everything else you ever purchased in life. All you have before you spend money is perceived value. So in order to be a successful entrepreneur, you have to be a master of perceived value. If the person doesn't perceive what you have to be valuable, they'll never transact with you. You'll never make the money you need to stay in business. Right? You gotta be somebody that masters perceived value. Now, here's the thing though. You can't under deliver, because if you have high perceived value, very low actual value, you get a lot of chargebacks, so you're not gonna be able to keep the money anyway. You get a lot of bad reviews, which prevents you from getting some future customers, right? So it's a lose-lose to have high perceived value, low deliverability. So even though you need to have high perceived value, what you deliver has to be better than what they even perceive, right? Better than what they even perceive in all areas. So when you hear people talk about getting into the flow of is the flow of money. All right. When you hear people talking about attracting money, and it sounds like this arbitrary fairy tale, you just trying to sell me a dream, you just trying to lie to me, you just another guy rambling on the internet or in an ad, right? While that may be true, I'm not saying everybody on the internet genuinely has your best interest at heart. But what I am saying that there are people like me that exist that understand that it's a bad business model to lie to you. It's a bad business model to scam, right? I think that scammers are not just bad because they scam, but they have one of the worst business models ever, so no scammer can scam for very long, right? If somebody takes advantage of you, they can probably take advantage of you maybe once. If you're really slow, maybe twice, right? But if somebody does good business with you, you'll transact with them maybe 10, 15, 20 times. It depends, right, on what they sell. So it's not even sustainable. It doesn't even make sense, right? So I want you all to start focusing on curating environments via your business where you attract people and give them more value than what you charge for. It doesn't have to be dollar value. Focus on perceived value and then over-deliver on their perception. How do you over-deliver on their perception, right? So you let them know, right? Hey, boom, if you buy this, I'm going to give this, this, and this, right? When they buy it, your system should help them get that result as fast as possible. So our mentorship program is already full. All right, we're about to roll out a new program because there's so much demand for our previous mentorship program. All right, that we started last year and is flowed into this year. Okay. Our previous mentorship program was called Rich Off Content Creation, right? Rich Off Content Creation showed people how do you create a social media presence that attracts buyers, not just people that says, ooh, that look nice. How do you attract buyers into your business via organic and paid social traffic? Once you attract the right people via organic and paid social media traffic, how do you have the right infrastructure to ensure that your business can do no less than 7 figures a year? That was Rich Off Content Creation, right? People paid thousands of dollars to get into the room, right? When they got into the room, they thought they were gonna just get the blueprint and the coaching if they ran into problems on how to do it. What they actually got is my team that I pay full time to do this for myself, to work for them while they're in the program. And while they're in the program, we're also going to help you hire your own team members in a way that you don't lose money, and we're going to plug them into your business as well. So by the time the mentorship program is over, not only do you know what to do, you've had it built, you had a team working with you the whole time. Even if we decide to part ways as friends at the end, you leave with your own team to continue to run your business to infinity and beyond, Buzz Lightyear style. Do you guys see how the perception was one thing, and then once they got in, we over-delivered the value? Right? We over-delivered the value. All right? So I can do that with any business. With any business. Everybody here, I know you guys have different niches, different desires, different income streams, or desires to establish those, right? Everybody here must understand this. This is a non-negotiable. You are in the media business or you won't be in any business very long. Every business is in the media business or you won't be in business very long. So I don't care if you're going to use AI, if you're going to hire somebody to do it, if you're going to do it yourself. if you are somebody that is not committed to leveraging some form of media. Social media is not the only media, but you gotta be willing to leverage some form of media to do business, right? We live in a day and time where it's not okay to be the best kept secret, right? The best kept secret make the least amount of money. The best kept secret make the least amount of money. People used to take pride in saying, oh, I'm the best kept secret. Don't nobody know what I'm doing, who I am, how I do this, how I do that, right? And you know better, right, because it's Sunday, you know better than the parable in the Bible, the one that was given a gift and did nothing with it, right? They didn't multiply the talents, right? For those of y'all that went to church, you know, I'm not quoting it, I'm paraphrasing it, right? But you didn't multiply what you were given. Everybody must be in the media business. I like social media because it was the time that I was born in, right? As a millennial, we was born into Black Planet, Sconex, Yahoo Instant Messenger, MySpace, right? I don't know if y'all remember any of those, right? So that was a thing. So social media was socially acceptable when I was little, right? We used to argue at school, hey man, put me in your top 8 friends on MySpace, right? Now, I don't even know if MySpace still exists. But man, it used to be a big deal. Hey bro, if we best friends, I need to be in your this, I need to be in your that, bro. Everybody need to see it. Put the whole gang on, right? That's the little kid arguments you'll have, all right? Three ways you should make your money. Off of what you know, that's your intellectual property. Intellectual property is valuable. If you don't think intellectual property is valuable, put Nike across a shirt and go sell 1 million of those shirts and see if intellectual property ain't valuable, right? Just put whatever brand you want that you know is already established. Go make enough noise. Now, if you do it and you sell 1 shirt a month, nobody's gonna notice you, right? The market is too big. You're an ant in a jungle, right? Nobody's gonna notice the 1 ant in the entire jungle, right? So now make enough noise though, right? Become a large sized tiger, right? And then see what happens. All right, so your intellectual property is valuable. So one way everybody should make money is off of what you know. Intellectual property is the manifestation of your ideas and the tangible things in the real world that you can exchange for money or whatever currency is most valuable to you, right? You can exchange your intellectual property for time. You can change your intellectual property for access. You can exchange your intellectual property for money, right? So whatever's most valuable to you at the time. My intellectual property has gotten me in the rooms where I by far was the brokest person in the room, but I was so grateful to be there. I learned so much in a short window of time. I was like, yo, it's over from here, right? It's over from here. And I'm talking about people talking about the most basic things, but how they built generational wealth off of pecans. Man, we in the South. My mama had a pecan tree in the backyard. My grandmama got pecan tree. Well, my grandma no longer living. My grandmama had pecan trees, right? Man, ain't nobody made no money off pecans, man. We used to hit them in the lawnmower and get mad because one of them little green peels will shoot off and hit your leg. If you cutting the grass in shorts, feel like somebody done shot you with a BB gun in your leg. You run over the right pecan with that push mower, right? Man, ain't nobody making no money off of this, all right? And then you get into the room and you find out like, hey, look, so you can buy into, you don't gotta have the money, but there's an opportunity for accredited investors. What in the world is an accredited investor, right? So you start hearing terms you don't even know exist because those terms don't get thrown around in your world. So you start hearing opportunities saying, hey, look, accredited investors get an opportunity to invest in 100 acres of pecan trees. Well, what the world they want 100 acres of pecan trees for? Oh, the lead investor has a relationship with one of the heads at Hidden Valley Ranch, and believe it or not, pecans is a key ingredient that they use across a variety of products. So they already have brokered a deal to where if they have the commodity, if they have the acreage of pecan trees, right, they'll sign a contract. This corporation will go out there, maintain the trees, harvest the pecans, use them as needed, and cut you a check. You don't got to have the relationship with the top person at Hidden Valley Ranch, right? You don't even got to know where the 100 acres of pecans are or broker the deal. All you got to do is be an accredited investor and be a part of this group. How much does it cost to be a part of the group? $0 to be a part of the group, right? They just want to have a pool of accredited investors that can take advantage of big opportunities that are beyond the amount of money that they have, right? That is it. I'm in multiple communities that are free to join, but there are nothing but millionaires in the community, and it's opportunities after opportunities, right? And I'm a country boy. I don't know no better. I be asking all the ignorant questions because I don't know nothing. I say, hey, well, why don't we just let everybody in the group, right? Why you gotta be a millionaire? Why you gotta show in some form or fashion you made at least $1 million a year for the past 3 consecutive years in order to have membership here, right? And to renew your membership, you gotta just show every couple of years that you're still like that. Just let everybody in. Let the poor people, rich people, middle class people in, right? And they're like, hey, look, we don't charge because it's not about the money, right? Now, there are certain groups like that they charge just to prevent that from happening. And if that ever happens, we will charge probably around $25,000, $15,000 to $25,000 a year for a membership, right? These groups are smaller groups than those larger groups because typically it happens at scale. And they're like, it's not about charging you a fee to be in the group. It's about the mindset of person you have to be in order to make $1 million or more a year. We would like to have a group of people, not just that have big bank accounts, but they have the mindset to create high-level value and solve high-level problems. That's more valuable than the $15,000 or $25,000 everybody here could easily pay to be a part of this community, right? So it's more valuable to have the right people than to put a price tag on it and have less people. So I was like, man, I never thought about it that way. But that makes sense, right? It's not that, oh, y'all hate the poor peasant people that don't make at least $1 million a year. The type of person you have to be to make $1 million a year, you got to be able to solve high-level problems and create high-level value, or else you'll never make $1 million a year. Because you have at least those 2 skill sets, if we get enough of those people in the right room at the right time, we can't help but create a higher level opportunity and be able to solve any inevitable problems that come along the way. And in those environments, that's where people partner together to create big real estate investment groups, do joint ventures in tech and software. They start investing in chains of franchises. So not instead of one person that's there that's like, yeah, I own 1 or 2 franchises. They join the group and they go from having 1 to 2 franchises over the past 10 years to now they got 30 franchises. And you like, yo, what in the world happened? In 10 years, you got 2. In 5 years, you got 30. What in the world changed, right? I started being around people that not because of the money, money's a byproduct. We already established that. if you have the right system and you put in the right inputs, you can't help but get money, right? You can't help but get the money, right? They don't care about the money. They care about the quality of the person, because that means something, right? Now, if the system gets compromised, right, they let everybody in. Everybody that just want to be in a room full of millionaires because they like, oh man, this gonna be my come up, this the opportunity, this, that, right? What the people that are coming in don't understand, that the people that curated the environment understood when they created it, was now the overall quality has been reduced. So now the group isn't even as valuable as it was before, right? And this is not personal. I don't know what your income level is when you're watching this, but what I'm telling you is that not only do you need to create high levels of value consistently to the maximum number of people, you also got to change your environment, because your environment is the number one thing that'll determine how much money you make. Not your upbringing, not your credit score, right? I had a 400 credit score, and I had a American Express card with no limit. How does that make sense? Right? Now, my credit score is not a 800. It's like a 7, right? You know, people on the internet, I got a 799,000 credit score. I got an 800 million credit score, right? My credit score probably like a 760. It's a 740 to 760. I don't check it all the time, right? But I'm usually between a 740 and a 760. Right? So let's say on the low end, I got at least a 740. I don't have an 800 credit score, right? But when I first got into even trying to understand credit or why it mattered, I was buying everything cashing out. So because I was buying everything cash, of course, you got a low credit score because you didn't do anything with the credit, right? So I was in the 400s. How in the world do you have a 400 credit score in American Express, right? One of the most recognized institutions in the world, give you a credit card with no limit, right? Relationships, right? I met somebody that was strong where I was weak, right? Which was credit. And I was strong where they were weak, which was making a lot of money. So they had the ability to go get access to credit. They just didn't know what to do with the credit, so that way they could service the monthly bill. So they added me as an authorized user. And unlike how some people do, which I'm not saying it's a bad way to do it this way, it depends on who you're doing it with, right? They added me as an authorized user. I immediately inherited their great credit profile. They sent out a card that had no limit on it with my name on it, and the person gave it to me. And they said, whatever you wanted to do it. I trust you, right? Now, keep in mind, my credit score is still what it was, right, when they added me on it, at least month 1. Over time, it went up. But when they added me, I was in the fours, right? Based off of the merit of somebody else, based off of being able to stand on the shoulders of giants, right? I was able to get access to capital that a lending institution, if I really needed them to do it, wouldn't have did it, right? Here's the lesson there. Strategic partnerships are the most valuable thing in your business. You should always ask for money before you need it. When we went to American Express, right, it took a while too. I was like, I'm good. Like, we cash flow great. I have no need of American Express's money. Like, I don't have as much money as American Express, but I have enough money to say that I'm good. I don't need any of American Express's money and have to pay them back with interest, right? I'm going to just rock out with what I have. All right. And that person convinced me, like, hey, look, I know you good, but you could tell we cousins when I don't even care. Like, I'm dusty. I got to bust the dust away before I go into church. Right. So y'all going to watch me bust the dust away. And y'all gonna still listen, because that's what family do that love each other. If not, log off now. Don't make me no difference. I still gotta bust the dust, right? Aquaphor is by far the best moisturizer on earth, right? If you don't know what it is, look it up, right? Get you some Aquaphor. All right, that's side note, all right? But anyway, though, ask for money before you need it. Start forging partnerships before you need it. How many of y'all hate, right? How many of y'all hate, straight up hate, if you see that relative or you see that friend and every time you see them or you hear from them, they doing bad? It's always a struggle, right? It's always a struggle. Man, hey, they either something wrong with their car, even they got fired again, they sick, they kids sick, they going through it with their spouse. Like you never said, hey, how you doing? And they're like, oh man, I'm good. How about you? Right? They always got some mess brewing, right? You can't be in those environments. And, right? You can't be that person, right? That's me down bad. Hey, it's very hard. Nobody want to work with you. Just being real. Now, I don't know you personally, but I'm just going to have a real talk with family, because if you can't be real with family, who you can be real with, right? Like, hey, I know I need a haircut. I know I need to stay in the gym, right? That don't bother me. That's just family being family, all right? But we going to reciprocate it too. So, that being said, I got about a few more minutes before I have to run in. All right, let me run through this chat real quick. We talking about attracting money. Software is a fire business. I built a software and it's making money. Congrats, right? I think software is where we need to be at. You know what? Because you said software and I'm actively invested in software, I'm going to give you a gem. Everybody that's here, just because that triggered a thought. Automation wrapping. Automation wrapping. Let me explain that to the people that have never heard this term before. You can have a software in several different ways. You can go out and code it yourself or use no-code tools, right? And put together your own software, market it to the world, make money. You could go find a pre-existing software. A really popular one right now is called Go High Level. And you could pay $300 a month. You can rebrand the entire software to be called whatever you want to call it. And then you can sell memberships to your software for, let's say, $50 a month. You pay $300 a month. You charge people $50 a month to use it under you. $300 a month, you can have 1 million people under you, right? So let's say you say, okay, I'm going to rebrand it. I'm going to call it JT Software, right? If you do that, you in trouble. That's a horrible name. But just for purposes of explaining it, you rename it JT Software. Then you have people underneath you pay $50 a month. Maybe you have a couple of tiers, $50, $99 a month, right? You get 1,000 people on your software. Now you're making $50,000 a month, right? You paying $300 a month for the back end, right? You private label, you white label the software. That's a second way to have a software company. You could build it yourself or pay some people to build it, but have it built yourself, sell it direct to consumer. That's what I'm doing with my video editing software. I still can't tell you the name of it yet because everything is completely done with that software except we haven't added the payment processor, right? I'm going to add the payment processor this week. So if I say the name of it and you go to it, you'll go make an account, you'll have access for it for free, and I have to pay people to help run it, right? So when I say the name of it, you guys can go check it out. But we do have, it's already done, we have a video editing software, right? Just like Adobe Premiere and iMovie and CapCut and whatever else, right? So we have our own. I'm like, we do so much media, I'm paying for editing softwares it finally clicked. Y'all know I'm slow. Why don't you have your own? So one software is our own video editing software. Well, guess what? I had to pay a developer a lot of money to build what I thought was a simple software. Turns out, wasn't as simple as I imagined, right? So we got a video editing software, right? So that is one thing. I almost said the name again. Let's move on. Second one, you could white label, you could private label, right? White label, private label. That's where you can find something that already exists, put your name on it, sell it, and then get a commission. For me, that's IamAMillionaire.com. That one I can say. IamAMillionaire.com. IamAMillionaire.com is a partnership that I pay for every single year. And with that partnership, I partner with a company that does SSL certificates, websites, domain names, all of the stuff you need to establish digital real estate, right? And because I love you, it's the GoDaddy reseller program. So the GoDaddy reseller program, right? I could go pay them once a year. I could private label it, IamAMillionaire.com. Now, everything that GoDaddy offers, I offer, right? GoDaddy does 24/7 fulfillment, 24/7 support. I get paid, right? That's the white label model. The third level is automation wrapping. So I've done the create your own software. I've done the white label reselling way. And of course, there's a million different softwares in every category. I'm just naming one of each. Automation wrapping, right? Automation wrapping is what I believe is going to be where we establish ourselves as being an expert as a company. Automation wrapping is when you go find several tools that already do a thing, and all you do is build a container that houses all of them together in one place, and you charge for convenience of the utility. That is automation wrapping, right? Let's say, for example, you wanted to create a service, and I use this same example, but like I said, if you guys click the link and join the free Telegram group, you get plays like this every single day, right? It never tells you the same play twice. And to keep it organized, I'm gonna just be honest. Every 30 days, we purge everything, which means we delete all of it, just because I don't want you to have to scroll for forever through 365 different businesses, because they're pretty in depth. And I feel like, for me, I wouldn't want that. So I try to deliver a result that I would want, right? So anyway, though, all right, every 30 days we purge it. So automation wrapping, let's say that, for example, you join the free Telegram group, link down below. And as you get an idea from the Telegram group, you wanted to go deeper. You wanted to take the information from the Telegram group that you got for free. You would want ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini or whatever LLM, large learning model, right? You want, right? Or large language model. I can't talk. I don't know nothing, right? LLM, though, is the acronym. You take it out of Telegram. You throw it into a LLM, and you say, how can I automate this? What virtual assistant, what system, what software, right? So JT gave us for free, who has the problem, what is the problem, tech stack needed, how to solve it, how much to charge, how to market, right? You say, okay, cool. It told me exactly what to do, but I work full time. I want to take it out of the Telegram. I want to run it through an LLM like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, DeepSeek, whatever, right? I want it to tell me, with this information, tell me how I can automate it. Do I need virtual assistants? Do I need software? Do I need N8N? Do I need Make? Do I need Zapier to put it all together, right? Tell me how I can fully automate this. Then tell me what would be the cost of automation based off of current pricing. And then show me what my potential profit margins would be if I were to actually automate this. And then I want you to score it on a scale of 1 to 10. And I only want you to say approved if it's an 8 or better, right? Anything that's a 7 or lower, I want you to disapprove it. And you know what? I just want you every day to shoot me a text message saying hustle approved or whatever it is, right? So what automation wrapping would do is, right, okay, first things first, we join the free Telegram. When we get the Telegram, right, now we want a bot to copy the message and paste the message, right? That's one tool. All I want this to do is automatically copy this message, paste this message into ChatGPT. Boom, right? Once we get that, or if you're going to use, let's say you're going to do it manually too, I wouldn't do it manually, but just to oversimplify it, because I want everybody to understand it, right? A VA goes, right? So a VA got notifications, and they get a notification every time it drops. It drops at 12 noon, so in an hour and a half, it's going to drop every day, right? So a VA gets a notification every day at noon Eastern Standard Time, right? That's the first thing that needs to happen, right? The VA checks it, the VA copies it, pastes it inside of your ChatGPT. You're going to give them access via LastPass because you don't want to give them your email address and password, right? Boom. Or let's say you just build a bot because you want as little humans involved as possible, right? So you have a copy and paste bot that it receives a notification. You use make.com to set up triggers, and when the notification goes out that the Telegram message came out, it triggers something in Make that tells this bot, copy this, paste it in the ChatGPT, right? Here's the prompt that I want you to ask before you paste this there. So it'll give it the same prompt, then it'll paste whatever was in the Telegram, right? Then based off of that, it will kick off an answer that says, here's how to automate it. Here's how much it will cost based off of current pricing. Here's what would be your profit margin. Based off of what's acceptable profit to you, you would then say, this is my scale of 1 to 10, right? 8 or better is the only thing that I want to know about, right? Another trigger, this might be connected to Twilio. Twilio is a text service. I don't want to nerd out. That's why I'm trying to stay high level, but I want you to understand automation wrapping, right? So then another trigger happens that says, okay, ChatGPT did its part. Now it kicked out a response. What do we do with the response, right? That trigger says, use Twilio, send JT a message. Boom, you get a text message every day on your phone, right? So instead of you going to the Telegram group at 12 noon and reading the message, and then you go figure out how can I automate this, and okay, like all of these other questions you might have, because to be real, I'm going to just tell you how to make money with AI every single day with less labor, most money for absolutely free, right? Let's say that you say, okay, great, that adds value to me, but I need to know more custom to my life. I'm a single mom. I work 40 hours a week. Then I got to clean. I got to cook. I got to do X, Y, Z. So just because you told me how to do it doesn't mean that everything that you said fits my life. So based off of my schedule, what I'm going to do is an automation wrapper where I set up triggers. Trigger 1, notification is sent via Telegram. Trigger 2 is now the copy and paste bot put it in the ChatGPT. ChatGPT gave us a result, right? Trigger 3, right? Send that result starting off with a number on a scale of 1 to 10 via a text message, right? If you send me a 7 or lower, just send a text message saying 6-no, right? If it's an 8 or better, say 8, check Telegram for details, and here's how to automate everything, right? That's an automation wrapper. Let's say you build that in make.com yourself, or you go to fiverr.com. Let's make it stupid easy. I'm the Fiverr king, right? I understand this because I've been doing it so long, but I still would go to Fiverr, Upwork, or Freelancer just to get it done faster. So you say, I don't understand all of this mumbo jumbo, JT. That's a whole nother language. You go to Fiverr, Fiverr.com, and you just type in make.com, right? Or just make bot, Zapier bot, make automation, MAKE automation. Just search for different terms. See somebody that has good reviews, level 2, within your budget, and you can understand one another, right? You explain to them as best you can what you want. They understand and can say it back. They can build it for you. Boom, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, right? I built my very first automation using Fiverr Here's what it was. It's very dumb, but I'm going to be transparent. We created a bot, and I never advertised it here because it was that dumb, that it was designed for men that were super busy, but they felt like their lady, their wife, girlfriend, fiance, whatever, was feeling neglected. So we created an automation that every day would send a text message. It would spoof your number. Like, you know how like scammers do this, but spoofing is if I can use a software, and if I know your mom's number, I can have it appear that it's your mom calling you, right? It'll say her name, her number, you answer the phone, it's me. That's called spoofing, right? So what we would do, and we would make them consent to it, right? So we would spoof their number, and every day we would send a text message that appears to come from them to their girlfriend, their wife, their significant other. And it would be a rotation. So let's say Monday, you want to send something that is just like an appreciation text. Let's say Tuesday, you want to, send something spiritual, right? You want to use a Bible verse and say, I thought of you when I read this, and because of this reason. Boom, that's Tuesday, right? Wednesday is hump day. We're going to send something romantic, right? Thursday is date night. We're going to say something to get them ready for date night. Friday is party night. We're going to send them something. We're going to turn up later, right? Whatever it is. So we got these prompts, like 7 days worth of prompts that we had. ChatGPT made them. We set up this automation, right? And we sending it out. Here's how it was a dumb idea, right? It was a one-way street. All it would do was send the text message. When they responded back, nothing happened. And now later we tweaked it and figured out we could fix it. By that point in time, we just decided to quit, right? So all it would do is send a text message. Now the guy don't know what he texted his wife. No idea at all. Why we didn't think of this was telling you how stupid we was when we first got into automation, right? Because how you texting your wife something you don't know what you said, right? So that's why it was a dumb idea, right? Now, for fun, Valentine's Day is coming up. For fun, we probably should just relaunch it with all of that, right? But the whole reason I tell you the backstory is that I didn't know how to do any of that at the time, right? I was like, this is the concept, build it, Fiverr.com, put it together, boom, it works, right? And then I realized that here's another thing when it comes to LLMs like ChatGPT. It's only as good as the questions that you asked. So I only knew to ask, build this thing that does this, right? For some reason, because I'm slow, I ain't think nothing about she might respond back. I ain't think nothing about, you know what? It should text his phone and her phone. So at least he knows what he said, right? And if she responds back, we should have another layer of automation that actually redirects to his real number and doesn't just go nowhere, right? We did it. We didn't even sell this. This was just for my friends, right? We was just playing around with automation, and I thought it would be fun to do, right? But that's automation wrapping in a nutshell. Does everybody understand that? I believe that automation wrapping is the most strategic way to do software for the average person. The average person needs a tool that solves a specific problem that they can bring to market to serve other people. Somebody said they attracted money by accident, right? They made a diabetic test strip group, and it has almost 2K members now. Hey, look, man, that's money. That's money. Lots of times people think if you don't got hundreds of thousands of people, you can't make no money. No, that's money, right? That is money right there. Imagine if 2,000 people gave you $5 a month. That'll retire the average person for forever, right? Somebody said that's if the system doesn't have anything wrong with it. We know that it's rigged, right? I'm not telling you to go operate in somebody else's system. You have to build your own. If you want more, you got to do more. You can't just go into what somebody else has already established and then get mad when they didn't give you what you want. Right? Somebody that teaches government contracting, Sheena. Type in Sheenapreneur on YouTube. Sheenapreneur. Ena. I don't know how to spell Sheena. Sheenapreneur on YouTube. Boom, boom, boom. Somebody said they walk right up to this. That's alignment, right? For sure. I'm just running through the questions real quick. If somebody could make 20%, 19.5 income, 19.5% YOY income in the stock market, how much would you pay them or give them to invest, or would you, right? So I would first want to see their track record. And then just like anything, we would use wisdom. We would start small and then we would scale up. So we'll probably start small with maybe like $10,000. This is assuming that I believed them. And then how much would I give them would be half of the profits, right? So they would get paid based off of their performance, if I believed them, right? But they would definitely have to show me a lot for me to believe them, all right? Over time too, not they hit a lick. Boom, boom, boom. So I said, what's the app, bro? I need to bring it back, right? Yeah, we just made it for fun, to be honest with you. Right? Like, we just didn't think it all the way through. We was just dumb. All right? Right, yeah. Yep, it was designed. I got a lot of partners that's married. And I got a few that's like in long-term relationships. And yeah, and they was like, man, we grinding, whether it's a 9-to-5 job, business, or whatever. Like, man, bro, we grinding, but, shoot, like, I'm doing all this for my family, but they not understanding. They was like, man, you could at least shoot me a text or something. I was like, I bet we can figure that out. All right? Bet we can figure that out. All right, so here's what I want you all to do. It costs you nothing. All right, click the link down in the description below. And I want you to join an absolutely free environment that is going to, every day at 12 noon, send you a detailed strategy on how you can make money leveraging AI, so that way you make more money with less labor. Right? Costs you nothing to do. Right? Gives you detailed plays. All right? And what I'm going to do this year is January. It's early. All right? I'm going to document as much as I possibly can. There's certain things that I have partners in. You guys know I told you about strategic partnerships, right? There's certain partnerships that I have that my partners don't want to disclose some details, right? So with that, I can't disclose, right? Just being honest, all right? Like Kevin Gates said, those I love, I don't discuss, right? So if my partner, like if I tell you that I own 5% of a $12 million a year business, which I do, you can do the math and see what 5% of 12 million is. All right. But my other partner, right, that I have, so I'm the minority owner. That means that 95% of it is split. It's only 3 of us, right? I own 5. The other 95 is split between 2 people. So if I talk too much about that business, right, you can kind of do the math and say, okay, so-and-so own this percentage. It's only 3 of them. Like, I'm the minority owner because I just put up some seed money a long time ago. And it just was, it worked. Now, keep in mind, though, I put up seed money a gazillion times. Most times that seed money go to 0. So just as much as somebody might love to say, oh, man, where put the seed money and end up having a $12 million a year business, right? Like, listen, you could spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in seed money trying to figure out, right, where to put it. So I'm not here to tell you where to put it. Like, we take shots all the time. Like I told you guys, we building 3 software companies at the same time right now. We're building a video editing company, we're building a CRM company, and we're building a calendar company, a scheduling company, all at the same time. I've been buying software companies since 2024, right? So just as much as we hit, it's because we take more swings than anybody, more swings than the average person, right? Click the link down in the description below, join the free Telegram group, make at least $50,000 a year this year just off free information in that group. See you on the inside.